Thank you, Mr. Chair. General Mattis, welcome. Thank you for the generous amount of time you spent with me in my office. I'm going to go back to a couple of the things that we've discussed, but I just wanted to tell you that we are, I think Secretary Cohen's characterization of Braveheart couldn't more perfectly put your personality and your legacy in proper perspective. Now, I want to talk about this. Now, unfortunately for me, I think Chair McCain's brought it up once or twice. It's one of the rare, it's actually the only instance in 2 years that I was able to correct him on something and know that I was right. He said it was a 200-page RFP for the next generation handgun. It's almost 700 pages. Now, I want to talk a little bit about why I think this is making our men and women on the battlefield less lethal, less prepared, less capable than they should be. When you start a program in the Air Force in 2008, then you decide with DOD that it should be the next generation handgun. Then you let from 2008 to 2017 transpire. You create a nearly 700-page RFP, and we haven't even down-selected the suppliers yet. And we're supposed to replace the last generation handguns by 2020. Frankly, I think we should be replacing them sooner than that if it makes our soldiers safer and more lethal on the battlefield. This is a great testament to what's wrong with defense acquisition. And this is not about counting beans. This is about saving lives. And this is about killing the enemy. This is what we've got to fix. So I'm not going to get you into the details except to say here's a mentality in the DOD that's got to get fixed too. When I had my staff, because I wanted the exact number, so I had my staff tell me what the exact page count. This is 680 pages. Now, interestingly enough, they'll probably come back and say, well, it's only 340 because you printed out on single page, not double-sided. Because they already came back and said that there's only 39 pages of technical specs. Well, if there's 39 pages of technical specs, what is all this other garbage in this document? Because that's the stuff that's preventing us from getting a more lethal, more reliable, more effective weapon on the battlefield. I'm going to keep on pounding on this thing. I could not possibly imagine what the capabilities you bring in terms of recommending to us how we need to fight wars and take the fight to the enemy on the battlefield. But I do know business, and I do know that the business of the DOD has to change, and it needs to start with this kind of stuff. You gave me a good answer in the committee. I just want to keep on pounding this. I'm going to bring my prop here so that we all get it right. 680 pages, 9 years, and we're not even in down selection. So it's 10 years plus, a decade for a pistol. I can break down and put together my .40 caliber pistol pretty easily with a blindfold on. In other words, they're relatively simple devices. I know that we have special applications for special operations, etc. That can be dealt with. But this one size fits all, it's okay to go 9 or 10 years to get a new lethal weapon, has to stop. Now, so all I want from you, I know that you're going to do a great job of leading our armed services. I have no doubt about that. Wouldn't even question, would never presume to know how to take the enemy, take on the enemy and eliminate them. You know how to do that, and I look forward to supporting your nomination in the waiver later today. I need your commitment that we're going to get away from the words that I heard in the last administration to fixing defense acquisition, and we start operating. And that when you come before this committee, you can almost invariably assume, you and your deputies, it's going to be about what progress have you made so that we end this cycle that is costing us money and make it a more dangerous place for our soldiers that are out there taking the fight to the enemy. Do I have your commitment?
You do, Senator, and I can't defend this. I will say that at times there have been regulations that required us to do things.
That's going to be my last question. I'm going to be true to time, General, and you're one of the last people that would be before this dais that I want to interrupt, but I want to get this point in and get finished by in my 36 minutes. Here's the other thing that we need to do. If somebody goes back and reviews this over the last 9 years, they're going to find out Congress is responsible for some number of these pages. And we need, as I told you in our office, to put a mirror down at that witness table from time to time and say, it's this long because somebody got a provision in the NDA or somebody got a provision in an appropriations bill that cost us to be less efficient. And I hope that I have your commitment to come in here and say, it is this way in part because of muscle memory in the DOD, And it's this way in large part because you guys are forcing inefficient processes that are making my women and men on the battlefield less safe and less capable. And I would welcome that feedback from you as Secretary.
I will bring it to you, sir. Obviously, it requires collaboration with this committee, and I'm eager to do that.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.